All right, let's solve an example of a quadratic equation. So anytime you have an equation that has a variable to the first power and the variable to the second power, you're going to have to use the quadratic equation to solve it. It's possible that under special circumstances you can factor it, but it'll always solve with the quadratic equation. So let's just review how to do that. So the first thing you have to do is get it in standard form. So let me just state the quadratic equation. The quadratic equation says that if you have an equation that looks like this, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, so in this case x is the variable, if it's in that form, then the solutions x can be found by taking negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, and it's the square root of all of this, all divided by 2a. So that's how we solve the quadratic equation, okay? And you might put that in your handy math formulas if you don't have it there already. So in order to solve our quadratic equation here, we've got to get it in standard form so that it equals 0. So I'm going to bring this to the other side. When I bring it to the other side, I get 42w minus 25 minus 4w squared equals 0. Okay? So that's standard form. And now we can figure out what the coefficients are. A in this equation is always what's in front of the squared term. So here's my squared term. So this right here is what we call A. B is what is in front of the linear term to the first power. So in this case, 42 is what is in front of the w to the first power. So that's going to be B. And then C is my constant term, the term that has no variable in it, and that's going to be negative 25. So if there's no sign in front of it, it's a plus. If there's a negative in front of it, it's minus. So now I can evaluate the quadratic equation for W. So W will equal minus B, so that's negative 42, plus or minus B squared, so that's 42 squared, minus 4 times A, which is negative 4, times C, which is negative 25. It's going to be the square root of all of this, and then all of that is going to be divided by 2 times A, which is negative 4. Okay? And so now we've got to put that in our calculator and get it correct. So don't use parentheses to multiply. You're going to get yourself really confused. So let me show you how I would do it on my calculator here, okay? I got a graphing calculator, so I know it's a little easier to see. But I'm going to start a parenthesis for my numerator. I'm going to put in negative 42. I'm going to do plus first, then I can come back and do the negative. Then I'm going to start with the square root, and my square root automatically groups. If yours doesn't, you'll need to use more parentheses. We're going to have 42 squared minus 4 times negative 4 times negative 25. And that's the end of my radical, so I got to get out of there. And then close my parentheses, that's the end of my numerator. Divided by, and then parentheses for my denominator, it's 2 times negative 4. So when I do that, I get one solution. And then I can hit second enter to bring it back up. And I can go back and I can make that plus in front of the square root and negative. And there's my other solution. So that's how I can find both solutions using my calculator pretty quickly and accurately. All right, so that's what you're going to do. You're going to practice solving the quadratic equation because we're going to need you to be able to reliably solve that for the problems that come next. All right, good luck.